It's 5:30, so we'll call to order this meeting for Tuesday, January 18th. Carl, would you start us off with a roll call, please?
Councilmember Ronayne. Councilmember Ronayne. We'll come back around. Councilmember Remley.
Present.
Councilmember Lunsman.
Present.
Councilmember Reif.
Present.
Councilmember Johnson.
Present.
Councilmember Reinbold.
Present.
Councilmember Langer.
Present.
Councilmember Rux.
Present.
Councilmember Ronayne.
Present.
Mayor Shawneman.
Present.
Present. Please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. First order of business will be to approve the agenda as printed. I'm not aware of any changes, so I would take a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Reinbold and a second from Councilman Rux. All in favor, please say aye.
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 And opposed, nay. Motion does carry. Next, we've got the approval of the minutes from the last meeting, which took place on January 3rd. Can I get a motion to approve those minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Rux and a second from Councilman Reif. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion does carry. No one has signed up that I'm aware to speak at the open forums. We'll move along to our consent calendar where we've got 5 items of routine city business, including bid dates, hearing dates, alcohol license renewals, and a workers' compensation coverage issue. Can I get a motion to approve our consent calendar, please?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Ronayne and a second from Councilman Rux. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion does carry. Next, we've got one item of old business. We've got the final adoption or possible final adoption of Ordinance 21-1201, which rezones property described as Lot 7 and 8, Block 11, Sullivan and Easton Addition, which is at 909 Main Street, from R2, R4 districts to C1 district. And this is our third reading on the topic. It had some amendments, so this will be the third and final. There was some lengthy discussion last meeting on this one, so I'll take a motion to approve, and then we'll see if anyone has anything to contribute.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Johnson and a second from Councilman Rux. Brett, this was the one that involved us putting some language in which would require the thing to be rezoned back out if it
That is correct.
moves away from this business. No changes, though, since the last. Anyone from the council have anything to contribute on this one? Rob, it was kind of your baby to include that language. Are you satisfied with the way that it is?
Yeah, and I appreciate the council doing this. I think this is smart, and I think this is what we ought to do on these in similar future cases.
Sounds good. We've got our motion and our second. Carl, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Ronayne.
Aye.
Remley.
Aye.
Lunsman.
Aye.
Reif.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Reinbold.
Aye.
Langer.
Aye.
Rux.
Aye.
Mayor Shawneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Move along to our new business, where we've got a possible first reading of ordinance 22-0106, which amends ordinance number 21-1203 to supplement the Public Safety Debt Service Fund for the year 2021. Carl, will you be telling us about that tonight?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, this is really a correcting ordinance to correct the ordinance we did back in December for the final supplement of the year. There was a transpositional error, as noted in the explanation. You can see in the explanation sheet what the original amount was. It was supposed to be the $3,858,400, and the transposed, it was listed as $3,585,400. So this is really a correcting ordinance to make sure that that budget is sufficient to cover the debt service for the Public Safety Fund.
I'll move it.
Got a motion from Councilman Ronan and a second from Councilman Rife. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Alberts on this one? Sounds like we'll get it right this time. Carl, would you give us our roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Rux,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Rife,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Mayor Shonneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got our possible allocation of $5 million worth of ARPA funds to serve as the local matching funds as part of an application for funding to the state of South Dakota for expansion of our wastewater treatment plant, and Joe Gah will tell us about that.
Yes, thank you. Back in December, actually on the 20th, at the council meeting, there was a public hearing and the council made the decision to submit an application to the Department of Ag and Natural Resources for water and wastewater funding in the amount of $56 million. This would be for renovations and upgrade to the wastewater plant. At the time we were discussing this, we set forth as it would be a 100% loan. And this was something we talked about, that the state's working on some parameters not to do that. It's still going through legislation, but they're putting together a plan that if cities use their ARPA funds, they will match that dollar for dollar. And then beyond that, based on population, we would qualify for potentially a 30% grant. So that takes that $56 million project down to, if we put this $5 million and it's matched by 5, down to 47, 46, 47. And then the 30% on top of that takes another 15 to 18 off. That starts to make this a much smaller project. We know that anything that's the city has to foot the bill on over loans is paid for by rates. So using this $5 million is something that's going to impact everybody in the city, all ratepayers. It's important. The ARPA requirements are pretty strict. The main uses we can use it on is water and wastewater, so this makes sense. There will be a little bit left over that we can figure out what to use later on, but this seems to make good sense to make this wastewater project move forward. And we'll know more on this in March, but this is to request the council changing our application to reflect this match.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
I've got a motion from Councilman Ronan and a second from Councilman Reinbold. Any questions for the city manager on this one? Seems like the expedient thing to do. Carl, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Rife,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Rux,
Aye.
Mayor Shonneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got our possible approval of the South Dakota Department of Transportation Grant Agreement, which is at Section 5339, referred to as the FAST Act, for Aberdeen's Ride Line, and authorize the city manager to sign the funding assistance agreements for the amount of $224,436 in total project costs, with the federal share being 80% and the local share being 20%, $44,892.75. And Transportation Director Rich Krokol is here to tell us about that grant agreement.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. As you can see on your council action request, there are 8 projects that we're looking at allocating this money to. As Mayor stated, federal share is 80%, city is 20%.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Johnson and a second from Councilman Rux. Has anybody got any question about the radio, software, hardware, any of that kind of stuff, or are we good to take this vote? Carl, give me a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Rux,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Rife,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Ronayne,
Aye.
Mayor Shonneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got our possible approval of payment requests for work on our airport improvement projects. as well as to authorize the city manager to sign those requests. We've got 4 payments. The first one is the apron project to Helms for $222. The second is for the taxiway geometry to Helms for $1,324. The third is for geometry to Helms for $4,635. And the last request is for snow removal equipment, also to Helms, for the amount of $62.50. Rich, what can you tell us about those payments?
Yeah, thank you again. These are all to Helms and Associates for projects that are nearing completion. GA apron, planning and design, construction, resident engineer, and engineering services. And then the small one, I don't know if I've ever presented one to you for this little of an amount, but this is for a filing fee for our snow removal equipment for $62.50 to Helms.
Move to approve all 4 payments.
Second.
Second.
A motion from Councilman Johnson. We've got a second from Councilman Rux. Any questions from the council? Statements? Carl, would you give us a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Ronayne,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Rife,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Rux,
Aye.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry.
Thank you, council.
Thank you very much for showing up, Rich. Appreciate your explanations. Next, we've got a review and approval of our claims and payroll. We've got bills for the week of January 18th. It's probably last week as well. We've also got payroll, which covers the pay period of January 2nd through the 15th, as well as the associated taxes necessary to make those payroll payments. Can I get a motion to pay the bills and payroll, please?
Move approval. Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Rux and a second from Councilman Reinbold. Carl, would you give us a roll call vote on those payments, please?
Councilmember Rux,
Aye.
Langer,
Aye.
Reinbold,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Rife,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Ronayne,
I vote aye as to all of the payments except the payment to Nick Burbis Real Estate Limited Partnership, for which I abstain.
Mayor Shoneman.
Aye, motion does carry. Next, we've got the city manager's report. Joe, look, we had a couple of anniversaries. Did you list those already and just took pictures today?
Yes, those are actually the January ones. We're into doing the January ones, so we will announce all of those January ones at the first meeting of February. But yes, we did take some pictures today, and that's getting to be quite a popular thing. We go out and we do these, and the department heads take pictures, and they end up on the Facebook, so that's great.
Yeah, that's
The
right.
one thing I wanted to touch
Original.
on,
That's
And the
old school.
Snapchat.
You know?
social media, we love it.
Instagram.
The one thing I did want to touch on is we did have some snow last week. It was kind of on the amount of snow we had was just on the cusp of was it enough to plow or not. But I have to tell you, the crews were ready to do it. We've had all these little snows of an inch or so, and in some areas it's packed up, some areas it had melted a little bit. So our crews were ready to go out and do the first one for the year. To believe we're in the middle of January and they did their first one, but the snow stopped here in Aberdeen by 4 o'clock Friday afternoon, and then the snow removal process started about 10 o'clock that night with the commercial districts, everything downtown, the major commercial districts, which involves a lot of plowing, a lot of hauling, quite a heavy duty operation. And then at 7 o'clock in the morning, it switched over to the residential areas and did all the north-south streets in the morning and then east-west in the afternoon. By 4 o'clock the next afternoon, so 24 hours later, the town had been 100% cleared as far as our normal snow removal operations. So the excitement, the crews were ready to get out there and clean up the mess, both the recent snow and the ones we'd had before. So the Public Works crew, and we have some other folks, some parks staff on that. It's all hands on deck. It's a real large operation, but the folks did a great job and got it cleared up quick. So we want to thank Robin and his crews for that. That's all I have.
Thank you, Robin. Nice work on that one. I was getting a lot of inquiries about the things that it would take to get the city to do snow removal, and so I think a nice reminder would be 2 inches of snowfall. We do the emergency routes downtown. 4 inches of snowfall is where the entire residence gets done. Is that correct?
Between 3 and 4.
Maybe even lower than 4 inches. It's I've explained that to quite a few people who have been interested, and I think that if everyone knows that rule, we'll be in a little bit better shape. Anyone else have anything before we move to executive session? Anyway, personnel matter, and so with that, I would take a motion to move to executive session to discuss.
Move to adjourn to executive session.
Second.
Got a motion from Councilman Johnson and a second from Councilman Reinbold. All in favor of moving to executive session, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, nay. Motion carries. We will continue in a few moments after the room is cleared with this executive session.